Hey everyone, I'm Ben, and this is The Grow Show, a monthly series where I try to figure out how to grow fruits and vegetables in my backyard, and you all watch. This is only my second year ever trying to grow a garden. I'm by no means an expert, but what I can share with you is the ups and downs, the successes and failures, the creativity, and that too familiar problem of, well, I guess I'll do it differently next year. If that's interesting to you, follow along. For my first monthly update, I want to take you back to mid-April, which was 3 or 4 weeks ago. Now, I'm in Denver, Colorado, and the weather here can be pretty variable, but I had just planted a few crops that I knew would do pretty well if there were to be a frost or some kind of bad weather. Little did I know, just 2 days after I planted it, it did indeed start to snow. It snowed, and it kept snowing, and it kept snowing. The snow began to accumulate on the vegetables that I had just planted, and I felt kind of bad for my little pea plants. So I opened the garage and I moved them inside for the night. Hoped they would be okay the next day. The next morning, we were completely snowed in. The dog had a blast, but I wasn't sure the plants would have liked being outside for the night. So the only thing I didn't put inside was these peas, which I just planted, and therefore I don't think they're at much risk. Let's go pull everything else out of the garage. Here are the little baby pea plants and the kale. I think everything actually looks pretty good. Absolutely beautiful spring day in the garden. Believe it or not, only 24 hours after the snowstorm that you just saw. And it's a perfect day to finally plant our berries, our blackberries and our raspberries. I ordered these berries online and they were delivered a few days ago in the mail. The blackberries came as plants, these are called triple crowns, and the raspberries came as bare roots, which are just part of a cane with a big root ball attached. These are a mix of red Lathams and golden ands. I soaked the roots in water, and as you can see, there's already some new shoots starting to grow. These will pop out of the soil eventually as new canes, and that's where the berries will grow. I'm using grow bags for all of these berries because I want them to grow along the side of the house where I don't have good soil, and because I've heard these guys can completely take over your yard if you plant them in the ground. I'm starting off with a layer of ripped up cardboard to take up some of the room in the bags and make them a bit lighter. And then I'll add a mix of potting soil and compost and mix them up to create a nice environment for my berries. Here's the adorable little blackberry plant that I'll put right in the middle of the grow bag. And then I'll smooth out the dirt around it and cover it with a layer of mulch that'll help it stay moist while the roots grow down and shoot up new canes. And at the end, here's what it looks like. We'll check back in a little bit. For the raspberries, I did the same thing. I soaked the roots and then I just filled in the dirt around the cane. These ones look dead, but apparently they're not, so we'll see how they turn out. And here's my berry patch. Not impressive right now, but we'll check back in a few months and we'll see how they turned out. So today, we're gonna plant potatoes. Got some potatoes here that were bought from the grocery store, and I left them out for a while, and as you can see, they're starting to sprout. We got some nice growth on them, some more than others. And these are going to grow into potato plants. I did this last year with gold potatoes. This year we're using some reds, but I'm pretty optimistic. I think this is going to be good. Potatoes are planted a little bit differently than other crops. What you want to do is put a layer on the bottom. Here I'm using mostly compost. And then you want to put the potatoes on that compost pretty low down, so there's really only a few inches from there to the bottom of the bag. What's going to happen is over time, as the potatoes grow, You'll fill it in around the plants, and that'll give the roots more areas to, more space to grow potatoes. It's the first week of May. Let's go see how everything's doing. Let's start off with something that's definitely a success so far, which is these blue bantam peas. They're growing really well. I put together this tomato cage as a trellis that they're really starting to grow up it. So you can see them starting to wrap their little tendrils around, and so they'll be able to grow taller. And I had actually started with 3 different types of peas. Over here, we've got some sugar daddies and 1 cascadia plant over there. I had more of these, but a few of them didn't make it, so I combined them all into 1 pot, and they're doing okay. And then I started a 3rd bag of peas over here. These are blue bantams again, a few weeks behind, but they're doing great. And then we got those potatoes that we planted before, and look, we got some sprouts. So we got 1, 2, 3, and then another one right here. And so what we'll do, we'll let them get a little bit bigger, and then we'll throw more dirt and compost over the top of them so that the potatoes have more room to grow underground. And coming over here, we have some of the leafy greens that I planted. These are lacinato kale plants that I would say are doing okay. But these ones over here, just 1 foot away, the same type of dirt, are doing much better. So I have no idea why. I think I'm gonna have to thin these out at some point, or else there won't be enough room. And I got 1 little kale plant over here. That's probably the weakest of the bunch, but I'm rooting for him. And then on this side, we got some Swiss chard here. And down there, again, the ones down there are doing better. No idea why. And then 2 pots of carrots. These ones have been around a little bit longer. You can see they're starting to send up their secondary leaves past their seed leaves. And then these ones started a few weeks later, also doing pretty well. I think I made a mistake with these ones starting them in really rocky soil. I think the carrots might end up kind of misshapen, so we'll see how that goes. And now that berry patch. So this is the blackberry plant you all saw get planted. It's got some nice new growth over here, some leaves, no new shoots yet. This one also growing from the tip, but no new shoots. But then if you come over here to these raspberries, so if you look down right here, we got some new canes coming up. Super, super cool. So these will shoot up hopefully a few feet, and we'll see if they bear fruit this year. I'm not sure they will. Over here is the golden raspberry. It's also got some new growth down here. It's alive. Pretty cool. And then the last thing to show you all is these pepper seedlings, which I started 2 or 3 weeks ago. Inside actually, so they're on a heating pad to keep the temperature up, and then as you can see, they've got some grow lights to really help them grow faster. So I got a bunch of different varieties here. These ones in the front are bell peppers called Cal Wonders, Thai Red Hots over here. These ones are serranos and jalapenos in the back, and a bunch of other types. Most of them seem to have made it, but there was a seedling, or a seed at least, in every one of these cells, and you can see not everyone has a plant now. So, you know, I think we had pretty good success. One thing I don't know is if these are going to be big enough to actually produce fruit this year. I maybe should have started them a little earlier, but we're going to give it a go and see how it goes. I think hopefully they get big enough that in the next few weeks I can transplant them outside. And that's it. Thanks for following along. I'll see you next month. If you have any suggestions for me, anything you see that I did wrong, drop a comment, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks.